Super Megafest!
Welcome to the 2018 Super Megafest Comic-Con here at the Sheraton Hotel in Framingham, Massachusetts. My name is David Ciccariella, where we're going to go inside, talk to special guests, people dressed in costume, and see a lot of cool things. Let's go. I am now honored to be speaking with two TV legends, Jerry Mathers, Tony Dow, Wally and the Beaver from Leave It to Beaver. How are you guys enjoying Super Megafest?
You know, it's a lot of fun, a lot of really good people here. It's very interesting, so if you can come out, and if not, we'll just say hi now.
How about you, Tony?
It's interesting. I haven't had a chance to walk around, but my wife said there's a lot of interesting costumes and interesting people. And I know we have a lot of friends here because Billy, Mumy, all the guys from Lost in Space are here.
Beaver and Wally had a lot of friends on the show. Did you have a specific favorite friend that Beaver had?
Well, Richard Carell was one of them. The guy that played Larry Mandela was another one. They were all really good friends, and they were all very nice people. So that's like saying pick the nicest person out of your 6th grade class or 4th grade class. So it was just a wonderful time. We had a lot of fun doing it.
How about you, Tony?
Well, I had a few friends, but, you know, the friend who never shows up much is Chester. You remember Chester? Yeah. He became a stuntman in Hollywood, so he was very cool. But all the group, you know, Kenny and Frank.
So one of my favorite episodes, well, there's so many great episodes, but the one that stuck in my mind is when Violet Rutherford kissed Beaver. How was it shooting that as a kid, having, you know, a girl kiss you?
Didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, right. I love kissing her.
Yeah, wasn't the problem for me.
Now, years later, Tony, you became a director and you worked on special effects. You worked on the TV movie for Doctor Who?
Yeah, I did. I did all the visual effects, yeah.
And do you ever go back and watch that?
You know, I haven't seen it in years, but I thought it turned out fairly well. But, you know, it wasn't one of the favorite Doctor Who's because, firstly, he had a girlfriend, and, of course, the fans didn't like the fact that he had a girlfriend. And then a lot of people didn't like it because the effects were too good, you know, because, you know, they used to bring a spaceship in on a string, and that was part of the character of the show. So, but I had fun doing it.
And final question, what do you think the legacy of Leave It to Beaver is, and why do you think it is as popular as ever?
I think it shows two boys growing up in America, and it could have been 50 or 60 years in the past and probably in the future, because America is a great country and it raises great kids.
How about you, Tony?
Hey, that was a good answer, man. Great answer. Well, I think the show's been on for 63 years, never been off the air. So somebody must have been doing something right back then. And who knows, maybe it'll be on another 60 years.
I'm now here with Bill Mumy, and how are you enjoying Super Megafest?
You know, it's been a great weekend, David. Super Megafest has been really well organized and friendly. The people are good. It's busy. It's crowded, but it's not too crowded that I can't get to the elevator and have a good time. And the chowder has been fabulous. And it's Oktoberfest for beer, so who can complain?
Now, you've been part of so many iconic TV shows. One of them was The Twilight Zone. It's a Good Life. And you had your daughter play your character's daughter in It's Still a Good Life in the early 2000 Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Returning to a classic project alongside Cloris Leachman is a treat for anybody, but to be able to include our daughter Liliana, who was just great in it and so talented, was really like, the cherry on top of a sundae. I was a bit recalcitrant about returning to something that I hoped Rod Serling would approve. And when I read the script, I really thought that Rod Serling would have given it a thumbs up, and I thought we did a good job.
You're also, I think, a big comic book fan.
I am.
And you appeared on a voice on Batman the Animated Series and the live-action Flash 90s show. That must have been fun to play those characters.
I never say no to the superhero potential. I've done Ultraman, Ren and Stimpy, Batman the Animated shows, a bunch of Technobot shows, Buzz Lightyear, Flash, Superboy. There's probably a bunch more and I've written Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman, Spectre, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wonder Man, Hulk. I've got to write a lot of the classic characters too.
And there's a great photo of you, Mark Hamill, Miguel Ferrer with Jack Kirby.
With Jack Kirby, Jerry Siegel, and Bob Kane. It was the creator of Superman, Jerry Siegel, Bob Kane, who created Batman, and Jack Kirby, who created everything else. And they were friends of mine that I'd gone to lunch with individually and stuff over the years. And my wife Eileen said, "Let's have a dinner." And it couldn't have been easier. Mark and Miguel were part of our little crowd, personal best friends. But in terms of those iconic creators, all you had to do was ask them, and all of them said, "Wow, we haven't seen those guys in 20 years." And it was a magnificent night. That was one of the coolest things I was ever a part of.
And I'm sorry for the loss of your friend Miguel Ferreira. What did he mean to you as a friend?
Well, Miguel and I were partners as writers in comic books. We created the Comet Man and Dreamwalker and Tripto the Acid Dog together, and we were in a band, the Generators, together for almost 20 years. Miguel had done some work with Barnes and Barnes in our films, and I did A Crossing Jordan with him, and we were just, best friends. You know how that is. So it's hard to lose a best friend, but hopefully I'll see him again one day in another realm.
Final question, I have to bring up Lost in Space, the new series on Netflix, and you're the real Dr. Smith.
How cool is that, right? If you had said to me 53 years ago that forget about the 84 episodes, 84 hours of being Will Robinson, that I would return 50 years later to play the real Zachary Smith, I would have said, that does not compute. I wouldn't have believed it, but it's very cool. I loved that opportunity, and perhaps we'll be seeing more of the real Zachary Smith. Possibility, nothing definitive. We'll see.
I'm now with Angela Cartwright. And how are you enjoying Super Megafest?
It's great. Everybody's been terrific.
And you're with your cast members.
I know. It's always fun to get together with them again and celebrate our Lost in Space years.
But you are a part of so many iconic shows. Make Room for Daddy. What's one memory you could share working with Danny Thomas?
Well, he was very boisterous and quite loud. And unlike my parents, who were from England, quite reserved. But he was great. He taught me everything I know about comedy, and we did the show live every week in front of a live audience. So I was on it 7 years. So it was like my second family.
Fantastic. And then you did Make Room for Granddaddy, too.
I did. That was 1 year. Yeah, we came back and did that.
And also you're part of the iconic, legendary Sound of Music.
Doing Sound of Music was really an experience, and it took about a year to do the whole film. We shot in Salzburg, Austria, and we, did the singing, dancing, working with Julie was just terrific. Friends with all the kids, and we always enjoy getting back together. We just did the Hollywood Bowl sing-along, and they show the movie, and everybody sings along, and I just saw Debbie, who played Marta, and the girl that played Gretel, which was Kim.
And how was it to shoot over in Austria?
Oh, fantastic. I lead a tour there, like every other year, and I say all my behind-the-scenes memories and stuff from making the movie. We go to all the locations. it's a beautiful city, and it hasn't changed at all. It's amazing.
What do you think the legacy of the original Lost in Space is? Why do you think it's still as popular as ever?
I think it captured the imagination of the era, which was going to space, and we were a space family, and what that would be like. So I think it captured the imagination then. Now, of course, we've been to the moon, and we have rockets taking off, and SpaceX and all of that. But I still think going to another planet really hasn't gotten old for a lot of people. So they enjoy that idea.
Now there's the new Lost in Space reboot. How do you feel about it, and do you think we'll ever see you on it?
In my opinion, it's great. It really captures the family essence of the show. I think the cast is fantastic in it. And as far as me being on it, my lips are sealed.
I'm now with Cobra Commander.
Yes. Hello, how are you?
What are you doing here at Super Mega Fest?
We raise money for veterans charities. Our charity of choice is Canines for Warriors. They adopt kill shelter dogs and train them as PTSD dogs to help veterans with PTSD.
Now, what do we have here, Commander?
Anti-aircraft gun to take down G.I. Joe.
Wow, look at this. And everything goes to a great cause here.
Yes, 100% of the donations go to veterans charities.
I have to say, for bad guys, you're some of the nicest bad guys I've talked to.
That's right, that's right. We're bad guys doing good.
I'm now with Marta. Kristen, how are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
I am having a spectacular time, a super mega fest time.
And it should be amazing that you're with all your castmates.
Yes, well, I love them. They are absolute family to me, and I adore being with them.
Now, I love Jonathan Harris on the original Lost in Space. Could you share a story working with him?
Well, Jonathan was so admired by the crew because he was an ultimate professional, and what he would do every Friday, because we would work very late on Fridays, because that was the evening where they could do that, because otherwise they would have to have 10 hours before our arrival the next day, and of course Saturday came the next day. So he would buy lollipops, Tootsie Rolls, Tootsie Roll lollipops, and he would hand them out to all the crew on Fridays when we were working late, and they just loved him, and as we all did. He was a very kind man and smart, as you all know. Wrote a lot of his own language, his alliterations, and I just learned a great deal from him, and that is always to respect the people you work with, get along, be kind, and be ready to, when you get on that set, know what you're doing.
Your character and Mark's character had a little romance going on. Was that really fun to play?
Well, Mark and I should have had more romance on the set, but CBS said in the second year, no romance, no touching, no looking, because this is a children's show. They decided that there was an audience that was much younger, but which wasn't true. It was really a family show. I think it would have been nice had we had a little more, maybe even get married, a little more romance on the show.
How do you feel about the new reboot of Lost in Space?
I love the new reboot. I think the acting is just wonderful. The writing is touching, and it's not Lost in Space, the original, but it is. I think it follows the same kind of heart that we had on our show, and I admire the new writers, and certainly the actors are really, really good.
And finally, what are you currently working on?
I started a theater company called West Coast Ensemble, and now I'm with a theater group called the Ruskin Theater in Santa Monica. I'm writing and producing and performing in the shows that I'm doing, and love it.
I'm now with Mark Goddard. And how are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
I love it. It's been great. I love shows in Massachusetts are the best, because I'm from here.
Now you're reunited with a lot of your Lost in Space cast today. How does that feel?
It's been great. It's been a great show, and we do shows maybe every 3 or 4 years together. It's great to be with Billy and Angela and Marta. In the old days, we'd have June with us, but she's 93 now, so she doesn't do shows anymore, you know.
Now, one of your first uncredited acting gigs was in the Woody Allen film Played It Again, Sam?
My ex-wife, Susan Onspach, she had a good part in the movie, but I went with her because we had 2 little kids and I was kind of like doing the house husband stuff, you know. So I was up there and Woody said to me, Mark, you want to just sit in with other actors who are business partners with mine in the show, and I said a couple lines, and that's it. I didn't even know. I don't know if I get credit for it, but I should keep the little checks coming in from Play It Again Sam for 25 cents, you know.
And you were saying that you did something with Bob Newhart?
No, Suzanne Plachette, the movie called Rage to Live. It was a fun, very good cast. Suzanne was a friend of mine, and she was doing the show with Bob Newhart. Well, I knew Bob Newhart because Buddy Hackett was one of my very dear friends. And we used to hang out with a lot of comedians like that, so it was fun. I had a good life out there. I had a good life.
Other than Lost in Space, what's one of your favorite roles that you had?
My favorite role probably of all time is My Name Is Mayonnaise. No, it's not. That was the Bill Dana show. Show I did called Adam 12. It was called Eulogy for a Pig. Show about a young guy goes through the academy, goes through the whole police thing, gets killed at the end. And they showed that at the academy in L.A. for the recruits going to become policemen for over 20 years as part of their curriculum. Jack Webb's favorite show, my favorite show too. So that particular episode called Eulogy for a Pig on Adam 12. Martin Milner, there was no lines in it. I had no lines. It was all voiceover that Marty Milner did. It's a great show. It's a great show.
Now, there's the new reboot of Lost in Space.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it, and will we ever see you on it?
May see me on it down the line somewhere. I know that the producers of the show love the original, and if we do cameos, like Billy did one where he's playing Dr. Smith or something, they want it to be a meaningful role, not just where you see somebody blend in and out. So I don't know if I'll be seen in it. I love it. I love the cast. I love the way they cast it. Wonderful actors, big scope. Second year is going very, very well. It's really good. I encourage people to see it. You know, it's really good.
And you like the different design of the robot?
It's more like the New England Patriots, you know what I mean? It's more like, muscles and stuff like that, rather than the old Patriots like this guy was.
It was like Pat the Patriot.
Oh, Pat the Patriot. He was kind of soft and just kind of there, you know. The new Patriot is like a killer, you know. That's the difference.
Mark, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you for being here at Super Megafest.
Well, it's good to see you guys again. I don't know, this might be my last show, so you got it now on can, you know.
I'm now with Dr. Fate, and you're female Dr. Fate.
That's right. I'm actually Zatanna as Dr. Fate. It's based off of the Young Justice animated series. One particular episode, she puts on the helmet of fate to save the world.
Did you make this costume?
I did. These pieces right here, they're cast out of floral resin, made for like flowers for people to sort of like preserve them. And then this helmet is all handmade too, started out from paper and built up from there with Warbler, Bondo, wood filler, gesso, and a lot of sanding.
And you do other costumes as well.
I'm Batwoman. I have a Batgirl Cassandra Cain version sort of in the works. And I've been several other characters. I've been Katana, I've been Hawkgirl. So those are the most recent ones.
There's somebody special in this trash can. And let me find out who it is. As I live and breathe, it's Oscar the Grouch. Well, what do we got here? Oh, get lost. Okay. And what does that one say? It says scram. All right, well, I'm gonna do my bidding. It was very nice talking to you, and I'm gonna go away now. Bye. All right, see ya. Bye, Oscar. Okay, well, now I'm here with the man behind Oscar.
Brandon Berry, I'm from Feature Presentations, and today we're at Super Megafest and we're raising money for the Yellow Feather Fund.
Why did you make Oscar?
Well, because we're friends with Carol Spinning. You're friends with him. We've all been friends with him for pretty much our whole life. So we wanted to build something to honor him and all the great work he's done and the help with children and education.
And for people who don't know, Carol Spinney is?
The puppeteer behind Oscar and Big Bird and the voice.
That's absolutely amazing. And what has been the feedback so far?
This is, we build sets all the time. I don't know if you've seen it. We got from Nightmare on Elm Street to, Stranger Things, and this has been our biggest hit. it's not just the little kids, it's adults, and doing the can, and every time I pop Oscar out of the can, I could just see like people's eyes just widen, like, oh my God, this is like from my childhood. So, really means something when, everyone enjoys it and loves the character and,
And what's the next step for this?
I can't tell you, but we're going to probably expand on this set. Maybe we're going to go big.
I'm now here with James Marsters. How are you enjoying Super Megafest?
I love it here. You can tell that the con is well run because the fans are happy when they come to me. And I love conventions. I think everyone's beautiful, everyone's safe, and you can be whatever you want to be. And that's a lot like heaven.
You played so many iconic roles in your career. I'm a big fan of the superhero roles and villains you played. Do you have a specific favorite?
Wow. I guess Lex Luthor would be my favorite in DC Universe Online. I got a battle armor and rockets, and I got to trash Superman multiple times in that. So yeah, I think Lex.
Was it cool to play both live action Brainiac and then voice Lex, two very different characters?
Yeah, very different, especially because Brainiac in Smallville was such a subtle character, which he's not in the comics at all. I loved pretending to care about Clark Kent. And I remember Tom Welling, who played Clark Kent on Smallville, he's a really smart guy. He's a great director and producer, but he told the producers, don't tell me anything that my character doesn't know. So they didn't tell him that I was a villain. He just thought that he was getting to be friends with this guy named Milton Fine, who was a professor at his college, and he thought, oh, we're just great friends. And I was thinking, no, I'm going to kill you. It was great.
And you came back in the 200th episode, Homecoming, as Brainiac 5. That must have been a lot of fun, playing a different version of the same character.
Yeah, it was confusing. I kept asking Tom, when am I going to screw you over? And he says, have you read the script? You're just a good guy. I'm like, no, come on. And he says, no, you're good. Yeah, so I was confused.
And what are you currently working on?
A Marvel show called Runaways for Hulu about a group of teenagers that find out that their parents are supervillains. And I play the biggest douchebag of all of the villains. So they're all mildly evil, and then I'm just horrible, just filthy bad. And it's a blast.
What makes you into playing the villain roles? What entices you?
I get to let the real me out, Like I think the secret of being a nice person is that I try not to inflict those parts of myself on the world. Try to give them a better version of myself. Maybe act better than I feel sometimes. But when you play a villain, you can just kind of barf all of that stuff out that you normally hide away. Yeah, I think all nice people are that way. We try to give the world the best of ourselves.
I'm now here speaking with Charisma Carpenter. How are you enjoying Super Megafest?
I'm enjoying it.
Oh, good.
So far, so good. Everybody's really nice with awesome accents. Had a little clam chowder for lunch.
Oh, nice. How is it reconnecting with James?
I connect with James on the regular, so it's kind of like, hey. And everybody else is like, it's James. And I'm like, hey.
Well, it's you two together, which makes everybody excited.
Well, I mean, and Nikki, all of us, yeah. We love each other. It's like family.
And did you guys play any pranks on each other on set?
100 years ago, yes. To Nikki, I wrapped his toilet in saran wrap once, and he peed everywhere.
You were recently on Lucifer. How was that experience?
Oh my God, they're so great. Those people are so great. It's an amazing show. It's well written. I didn't realize how akin, like dialogue-wise, it is, like the snappy dialogue, the funny, and the double entendres and the quick wit of it all. I didn't realize that there's only one other show that I would sort of say is in the same vein as Buffy, besides Lucifer, and I would have to say it was Veronica Mars. So, like, when I went to do the show Lucifer, hi, Chris Rafferty and Lauren German and Tom Ellis and Kevin and, oh my God, and Leslie Brandt. I mean, everybody is so beautiful and awesome to work with and have still been really sweet and kind to me. Like, I see them in the hair salon. It's like Leslie's like, hi. And I'm like, hi, Leslie. Nice to see you.
What superhero would you like to play if you could play a superhero?
I mean, Wonder Woman's shoes have always been meant to be filled by me. But I think you're in good hands with Gal. secondly would be Catwoman. You know, Michelle Pfeiffer is still, for me, like the best Catwoman in terms of performance and also sexy and also getting across that sort of feline aloofness, you know, that mysterious feminine. You know, she was so great at portraying that, so her.
And what are you currently working on?
Right now, I am currently working on promoting a movie that I did called Mail Order Monster, which is a really cute family movie that's got an element of sci-fi to it. And I'm going to be a juror at the Portland Film Festival at the end of the month. And I'm really excited to see the movie being played there as well for the first time.
We're now with Nicholas Brendon, and how are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
I love it. I love kind of the more intimate shows. It feels more like a party.
Now, on the last season of Buffy, you had like a eye patch.
I did. Yeah, it sucks because you know, your depth, everything's off. And so, at least with the eye patch, I was able to flip it up in between scenes.
Right.
When I had the big white bandage on, I couldn't take it off, take it on. It was brutal. So we have someone who's a script supervisor, and she's also in charge of making sure that like everything is, you know, the continuity. So I would just change it from eye to eye from time to time to see if she's paying attention. Nikki, got it. Yeah.
How does it feel to be an action figure?
It's really neat. Like I wasn't. You know, I found baseball when I was young to kind of deal with the trauma that I'd had. So by no means am I saying that, I didn't read comic books or I wasn't into action figures. I just found baseball. Right. So I think had I been into that more, like comics and things like that, I would be like, oh my God, this is so great. But since that wasn't really on my radar when I was younger, it's just neat. It's just part of my life, you know.
And is it fun to reconnect with some of your cast members here?
Yes, always. Yeah, it's a family.
And what are you currently working on?
I've been doing a tour for the past year. About depression awareness. I've been home 5 days in the last year to LA, and probably put 100,000 road miles in, hit like 112 cities. Yeah, so it's kind of getting the word out there.
Now I'm standing with
Darren.
These are the Jurassic Park vehicles.
So that's Jurassic Park tour vehicle that you see in the first movie, and then you have the Jeeps that you also saw in the first movie.
You have some dinosaurs too.
Yes, Coda's usually a fan favorite. So Coda will make noises if you touch some of her sensors.
Wow, very cool.
The kids really love Coda. Even the adults, they come over, they're super ecstatic to see her. She likes belly rubs.
I am now sitting with a WWE legend, the one, the only, Mean Gene Okerlund. How are you enjoying Super Mega Fest?
Well, I got to tell you something. This blows my mind because it's my first time. And I didn't really have a feel as to what it was going to be. But now that I get here, I love it.
When you look back at your career, what one wrestler stands out that you have interviewed that really made an impression?
Well, when you get up to 50 years, just about, in the business, I can't really measure it as one guy because I kind of take it by decades. But I'm going to throw a whole bunch of our guys that performed above and beyond, originally with guys like Buddy Rogers here in the WWE. Certainly Bruno Sammartino had his own way of expressing himself. But then we get into new wave. Landscape changing in '85. Hulk Hogan was at the top, but gosh, you know, his supporting players were guys like Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. But, take a look at Stone Cold Steve Austin. How about Mick Foley? Let's go for The Rock, the People's Champion. Can you smell what he's cooking?
Well, I love your interview with Andre the Giant, very famous when he put his hand on you. That left an impression, I'm sure.
Yes, if you're going to pick somebody to let them lay their hands on you, Andre would not be the guy. I'd be thinking more like, what's her name, the actress Garner or some other hot tomato, but not Andre.
And how was Roddy Piper?
Piper was a good guy. He and I had a understanding. We were both pretty much creative on our feet. Today, a lot of copy is being written and prepared for the talent. It was not like that back, 30 years ago, but so be it. That's the way the direction that wrestling television is going to take. And I'm sure it'll be even refined more as time goes on.
How do you like to see yourself in cartoon form with the story time?
Animation, I guess at this stage of the game, I'm a sweet 75, that anything's going to fly. I enjoy story time. But that's got a little bit of a rub to it, too, that is a little different than all of our mainstream product today.
And then you came back for the anniversary for Raw and interviewed AJ Styles.
Styles and myself, he's rather new to the organization, but I had not interviewed him before. But once we got into it, I liked him.
And what's one of your other favorite current wrestlers?
The one guy that I do like, that would be Brock Lesnar, the Beast, the Monster. I think Paul Heyman has done a hell of a job in getting him cranked up. And a lot of very athletically talented people on the air, both shows. If you take a look at Raw, now all of a sudden SmackDown is going to transition over to Fox, and I'm sure it's going to be a big hit on Fox.
I'm now with Vickie Guerrero, and how are you enjoying Super Megafest?
This is a great convention. I love the fans. The facility is awesome, and I get to meet cute guys like you.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. You're well known for being a manager in WWE, and one of my favorite moments was when you and Edge got married. How?
One of your favorite moments? Because that was the most horrible day for me. That's when Edge, my world just got just torn down that day. He had an affair. How can that be one of your favorite moments?
It was funny.
Who is this guy?
It was a funny moment.
Oh, I'm glad you thought it was funny.
So you're coming back for the SmackDown 1000?
Yes, I am. Well, now we can think of something positive, can't we?
Yeah.
I'll be in Washington, D.C. for SmackDown, the 1000th episode, which is amazing. That's going to be exciting to me.
Who are you looking forward to seeing that you haven't seen for a while?
Gosh, everyone, from the stage crew to catering to all my coworkers in the locker room, all the girls, and just everyone, the superstars, and it's a great time to see my family again.
And what was one of your favorite angles in the WWE?
Well, I'd have to admit it was Edge. I mean, we had some great times, and Edge was so great to show me the psychology of the matches, and that's where I kind of got my character developed, was through Edge, and Dolph Ziggler was great too, and working with Lay Cool, that was another great moment.
Now, of course, your husband is the late, great Eddie Guerrero, and Edge was a big admirer of Eddie. And so it must be great for him to work with you in WWE after.
When Eddie was around and, I was the wife, I got to see Eddie work with such great superstars. And for me to be blessed to be able to work with these guys, Edge and Dolph Ziggler and The Rock, and Eddie got to, have matches with them. It just came full circle to be able to experience just how great these people were to work with, yeah.
How did your on-camera personality start, and how did you start going on camera?
Well, the feud started with Eddie and Rey Mysterio for the child custody, and of course Chava was on our side because we're family.
Right.
But yeah, I had a few shows I got to be with Eddie and do some stuff with our girls too, and it just kind of developed. But when Eddie passed away, WWE had asked me to come back and do some storylines with Chris Benoit and Rey Mysterio, and so it just started. I was supposed to be for 6 months, and 10 years went by and I was still there. So it's been a great time to be at WWE.
And final question, what was one of your favorite moments as general manager of SmackDown?
One of my favorite moments is working with the McMahon family, with Vince and Stephanie and Triple H. That's an honor. A lot of superstars don't get to work with them in the ring. So that's where I got to learn even more from them. And it was an honor to be with them.
Now I'm with a group of cosplayers from all different types of media. I'm with Luke Cage.
Yes, Luke Cage. Power Man from the comics, but Luke Cage.
And what inspired you to dress like Luke Cage today?
Honestly, there's not many bald-headed goatee superheroes out there, and it just fit the bill. And he's also a pretty badass character.
And a pretty simple costume to get into.
Only cost me $20. I can't complain. So I'm pretty happy about it.
Then we have
Joseph Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
what is JoJo's?
We don't have time to talk about it.
No, but is it an anime? Is it a video game?
It's an anime and a video game, fighting game, but it's a lot of fun and it's crazy and it's amazing.
Perfect. Now, I know this last character. I'm very impressed by this. This is the Music Meister from Batman Brave and the Bold. Amazing. What inspired you to dress like the Music Meister?
Well, it happened a few years ago. I needed a special character to officiate a friend's wedding. And if I'm going to be the lead role, why not do it in song?
Now, we have to show on his costume here his musical notes.
Yeah, so this is all very simple. I used the cheapest of craft foams, simple cutout, and this is just glued right onto the buttons.
And is it hard to see out of that mask?
Actually, no. The black part that you can't see through, this is just a mesh plating on the back. For me, it's perfectly fine.
And now you have an excuse just to break into song anytime you want.
Absolutely.
I'm now with Rusty Goffe, and how are you enjoying Super Megafest?
I'm absolutely loving it. I love it here at Framingham in the Sheraton Hotel, Super Megafest. It's really great. Lovely people.
I love your accent. Where are you from?
I live about 40 miles north of London.
Now, you were one of the original Oompa Loompas in Willy Wonka and the Charlie Willy Wonka.
Yeah, Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, yeah. Because they had trouble with apartheid. They couldn't use Charlie name, and they couldn't use the black pygmies as Roald Dahl wrote in his book because of apartheid. So the director said, well, I'll give them orange faces and green hair. And that's how we had orange faces and green hair.
And what was one of your favorite memories working on that film?
How wonderful Gene Wilder was. He was a lovely guy. Very gentle. And the kids also, they came over there about 10, 12 years of age. And they only had chaperones who they never knew to look after them. Gene looked after them. He was like a father figure. He used to read them stories, tell them stories, just keep them occupied, not bored or upset because their mums and dads were miles away.
And I think one of the things I loved about the movie was that the props looked like candy. It must have been great being in that world that everything looked so real.
Yeah. A lot of stuff in the chocolate room was real. So you did have cardboard, but yeah, it's edible. It's edible, except the river. That was just dirty water, but we were putting real cream and sugar into it.
Looking at your many photos here on your table, one that is really catching my eye is you as a Jawa.
I was a Jawa, yeah, in the first Star Wars, which was only going to be one film called Star Wars, but then it took off. They made some money.
And what was one of your favorite memories working on that film?
That was fun. The original, way back in 1974, when we started making it, and no one knew how big it was going to be. No one at all. It was done very, very cheaply because they didn't have any money to make the film. They had a lovely story, and that was it, the story. It was a swashbuckling, good over evil, love story, which was needed at that time of day.
And what was one of your highlights in your professional acting career?
My highlights is, I would say, well, I've met Her Majesty the Queen. That's one of the highlights. That was good. In an audience in Buckingham Palace in London. That was great. Yeah, that's nice. And she said to me, and how long have you been in show business? I said, well, I've been in nearly 50 years. I've just retired. Oh, she said. I said, but my last thing was Doctor Who. She went, Doctor Who? And then she said, the children, Prince Charles, Princess Anne, were so scared of Doctor Who.
Who are you in Doctor Who?
I played in a episode called The Robots of Sherwood. Peter Capaldi, he was the Doctor. They landed in Nottingham, Sherwood Forest, and they met Robin Hood and his merry men, and I was Little John. Well, that's my swan song. That's the last thing I ever did in show business.
I think that's a good way to go, Doctor Who.
Great, yeah, you know. How do you finish? Doctor Who. It was I was going to retire about 6 months before. Then I had a phone call. Hello, this is the BBC. Would you like to do an episode of Doctor Who? Yes. I didn't think about it. I went, yes. So that was it. That's how I vented.
I'm now with two versions of Batman. How are you, Batman?
I'm fine, thank you.
How about you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Good. So, very different costumes. Remind me again, what version of Batman are you?
I'm the Batman that serves justice all night long.
He's kind of like a steampunk Batman, right?
Correct.
That's a fantastic costume. Did you make that?
I did. Thanks for asking.
Now I'm standing with?
My name is Jasmine, aka Vixen J. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Catwoman, if we're being honest, though.
And what inspired you to dress like Catwoman?
I love all things cat, honestly. My first cosplay was Black Cat, and then I discovered Catwoman, and I just love that she's kind of like the bad guy, but also the good guy. She does what she wants, but she still cares about people. She'll still drop off milk for the kittens at the end of the night, so.
It seems like she loves cats more than she loves humans. She does like Batman.
I mean, I just kind of like to bat him around a little bit, you know?
I'm now with Tony Moran, and how are you enjoying Super Megafest?
Man, it's out of this world. It's great. Having a great time here. A lot of people showed up here, and everybody seems happy. It's a great time. Great time.
Now, you are the original Michael Myers from Halloween.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. From Halloween 1, 1978, John Carpenter's movie, Halloween.
What was it like being on set?
It's a great time. You know, it's an independent movie, so on independent movies, there's, everybody, works with each other, so it's like a team effort. So it's always a great time.
And you must have never imagined that character Michael Myers would be this iconic horror villain.
No, I didn't. I thought maybe the movie would be about 2 weeks in the drive-in, and then that'd be about it.
What are you currently working on?
Conventions, appearances. I do about 3 or 4 movies a year, independent horror movies a year. So
now I'm with the Pirates, and tell me about your group.
Okay, we're the New England Brethren of Pirates. We raise money for various charities throughout New England. Today we are raising money for the Yellow Feather Fund. We have our Fight a Pirate, our photo ops with our stocks and our helm upstairs, and around the corner we have Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch, wow. You know what? Let's go over here. Wow, so this is a stocks, and this poor guy, he's been in here for a while. How long have you been stuck in the stocks for?
All day.
I'm now with Mark Patton, and how are you enjoying Super Megafest?
I'm having a blast. How are you guys doing?
Oh, very good, thanks. Now, one of your iconic roles is in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. How was that experience?
Well, it was perfect. I mean, I did Nightmare on Elm Street 2 35 years ago, so I was just a young guy. And I loved it. It changed my life, and it still keeps giving me lots of wonderful gifts, so I enjoyed it, yeah.
And how's Robert Englund to work with?
Robert's great. We were peers at the time, and it's been interesting to watch him become Freddy Krueger over the past, when we were working together, we were just a couple actors having fun. So it's good. I celebrate all our success. I mean, we're pop culture history at this point. So yeah, it's fun.
You had a rare distinction of actually getting possessed by Freddy.
Yeah, I think my movie's a little bit different than, I play the Nancy character. He comes through my body, through my dreams into the real world. So yeah, I'm the only person who wears the glove and becomes Freddy. Yeah, on a certain level. Yeah, so we have that interesting part together.
Robert Englund's going to be in an episode of The Goldbergs as Freddy Krueger.
Yes, he is. But actually, the episode of The Goldbergs is actually about Jesse, me, and I just signed contracts with him some time ago, and it's really fun. It's all based around a Fangoria issue that came out in 1982. And you'll see the son becomes frightened, and that's where Freddy Krueger is going to show up. Yeah.
Are we going to see you?
You're only going to see Jesse from from the film. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Do you think Robert should be playing Freddy Krueger again in another film?
In another film? He'll never play Freddy Krueger in another film. He has no desire to do it. So Robert's 73 years old. And under all that mask, it's a lot of work. It's very nice that he came back and did this for the Goldbergs, but you won't see Robert in a movie ever again, and you really shouldn't expect to.
Finally, what are you currently working on?
Do have a new documentary coming out. It's called Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's been accepted into Sundance, Tribeca, South by Southwest, and it is about the 80s and horror in the 80s, and specifically Nightmare on Elm Street. And it's a very serious documentary. The proceeds go to the Trevor Project, or It Gets Better, and I really hope you all look forward to it. You'll see it on Netflix, but this year is going to be a lot of press about this documentary, so I hope you follow us. And you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all those places. Just Google, and we're there.
That was the 2018 Super Megafest Comic-Con at the Sheraton Hotel in Framingham, Massachusetts. And as you can tell, it's a great event. Please come next year. My name is David Ciccariella. Thanks for watching.